Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. The Prophet was published in 1923 and it immediately became a major success in Western Hemisphere. For the first time, a non Western writer became famous among Western writers and readers. In Prophet, Khalil Gibran plays with the ideas of spirituality, God, and talking some sense into humanity. And the results are spectacular. The Prophet is an anthology, is a collection of short poetry, and every chapter contains concise poetry, poetic prose. You can say that Khalil Gibran, Khalil Gibran, in a sense, was epitome of a globalized world. He was born in Lebanon, spent probably half his childhood in Lebanon, moved to United States, Boston, and lived his life in Boston up until teenage, moving back to Lebanon. So there's a back and forth between United States and Lebanon. um, he somehow didn't like the dogmatic way of religion, and in a way he criticized it. But there is something beyond in the Prophet, his work, that goes beyond actual religion or anything that is related to religion. He's more of a he concern himself more with spirituality than religion, and that is objectively very apparent in the Prophet. Um, so the story is um, is of this a prophet who lived a life 12 years on an island, and now his time has come where he has to return back to his home. The problem is that he thinks that he might be betraying his own principle, uh, because he's a prophet and he's supposed to uh, go on these adventures and spread wisdom and the and spread wisdom and knowledge. The one other ironical thing about the prophet, the Khalil Gibran's prophet, is that there is no prophesying in the work. There is none of that. It's just a true knowledge of the life, the person who have lived a life, who have observed life, and somehow thinks that um, somehow thinks that uh, think that life is not that big deal. It's not some problem that you have to solve, or it's uh, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile living it. And so the problem is with the prophet in this book, that he is with these people of a city or a town or on an island, stranded on an island with these people of Orphalese, and he is supposed to go back to his hometown where he was born, and now he is on sort of this mission of you know you know um, going to people and somehow spreading wisdom. What happens meanwhile is he knows what he's supposed to, but also his heart says that his heart also uh, instinctively says that he should go back to his own birthplace or his own hometown, and he's seeing this. So the first scene in the book is that he can see a ship coming towards the island, which is supposed to take him back, and now he is in this conundrum whether he should go or probably stay here and give whatever he's there to give them, most probably wisdom. um, but he comes down from the mountain, and people around him started asking one question after the other. Possessions, about children, about good and evil, about marriage, about all of the concerns that somehow concerns humanity, and they get the answer. They get this answer in very poetic way. That's the beauty of language in the book, which it's simply is the fact that the language and the writing in the book are simply beautiful. Um, the other thing that happens in the book is that everybody has his own concern, right? A parent has a concern about his child, you know, or a labor has a concern about his wages, or a bachelor has concern about marriage, or uh, a pregnant woman has a concern about uh, the child who is about to be born. Everybody has their own concerns or whatever role they are playing at present. Nobody can transcend themselves into something that uh, is a collectively somehow concerns the humanity. For example, if a poet is asking a question about poetry that only concerns the poet, it doesn't concern anybody else. Probably some other writers or some other people who are interested in literature, but it doesn't concern anybody else. So that is also the point that come across, that everybody has their own concerns, and everybody is deeply entrenched in their statehood, whatever state they are in, whatever deeply entrenched in their own being, the small being, not the big being, because the big being has no definition. And I mean, it has definition, but uh, being is the big being, which Martin Heidegger also talks about. The big being is uh, is nothing in a way, because um, every definition that we give to being, the big being, the capital being, uh, the being with capital B, is somehow conditional, and there are condition to the being with the capital B, because being in reality in apparent world is nothing. It's nothing. If we analyze it, uh, if it goes in depth of it, it's just a big zero. Nothing is being is nothing. And somehow I think that is the point that I could um, take out from my own reading of the Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. But I think maybe I might be wrong, because I think that when Khalil Gibran is writing and he plays with these ideas, and though he's such a good player that he can be successful in the end in somehow uh, getting the point across, or getting or being understood by the reader, or anybody who's on the other side, who is being communicated to. And so I that's something that I've read between the lines of the Prophet. And the setting is very foundational. There's nothing different in the setting of the novel. It's something that you see in other stories as well. But the one other thing that I've so everything is, so there are direct messages, there is direct knowledge that is given to you, and there is the wisdom in the book. Wisdom is something that cannot be, just because you're listening to wise words doesn't mean you become a wise person. it, that's not how it works. You can be knowledgeable. There is a famous quote that you can be knowledgeable from other people's knowledge, but you cannot be wise from others' wisdom. And that is other point that come across in the book. Other thing is that he also talks about charity, and he says that charity is most fruitful when it is effortless, right? When charity in itself is is an act, and there's nothing else to it. There's no thinking about the rewards of any kind, whether those are heavenly rewards or worldly rewards. That is something that I think this point is also from religions. That's something we're clear in. Religion, it also something that falls under the realm of morality, which some people would argue that, which is some people would argue that it is a derivative of religion too. It's not something different, but morality, it falls under the that this world is in so much trouble and poverty. There are always people who are in need, and those needs are fulfilled when when the charity is being done, and the charity is very fruitful when it is effortless, when only the charity is being done and nothing else. And there are no uh, uh, there are no um, attachment or expectations when you're doing that act. And one point about Khalil Gibran, the prophet, is that Khalil Gibran makes it clear that the children that you have are not your possessions of any kind. You can think of them as your possessions because somehow you take you have legal guardianship of them, and by all means, you should have guardianship, their guardianship. There's no point about that, but you cannot treat them as things and possessions, even if you have control of them. You have to let them grow. You have to let them be fruitful on their own. You have to let the seed germinate. It's about that. And the so that's the point, and the beautiful language, which is poetry. It's written in archaic English, which is beautiful in itself. The way the Bible is written, the way the classical English literature is written, it's written in that language. And from the point A to point B in the book, there is these and thought these poems that he dictates, right? Where he's not necessarily asking the listener to have any presuppositions about the life or the concerns they have for themselves. It's just the very introspective and very impromptu dialogue with the listener, where one thing is that you know there is this person, right, and he somehow accumulate knowledge across life, across concerns, whatever concerns you have or you may have. He is somehow can answer all those things, which is in fact um, um, an expertise in itself. But because we all are concerned with small beings, right? We all have our own small beings, whatever they are. We have, and no person is without small beings. Everybody has a small being, whatever they could be, whether that could be money, whether that could be having a desire to be something, or having a desire to get the possession of something, or be with someone, or to be away from someone, or to be in a place, or to not be in a place. Like, these are all small beings. And also that prof- the um the speaker in the book is not saying that those are not important, is not saying that those things are not important, and he's not even he and he never anywhere even said that these are small beings, but he sort of answers all those questions with no problem. Like he has no problem in answering a question of a poet, or in answering a question of a parent, or a pregnant woman, or a farmer, or a laborer, or anyone, 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 and up to the end, he is drenched in this. He's deeply affected by, we all are, because even if these are small beings, they affect our life. Our life doesn't affect them in any way or form, but they affect us, the small beings. But the point I think I could get across is somehow that there is one being with a capital B, uh, that somehow is beyond all beings.